another question, question 8 now, and I have x is normally distributed with a mean of 0 and a variance of 15, and just so you remember, that means that the standard deviation is going to be square root 15. Part A is find x such that the probability of the modulus of x being less than x is 0.8. Now, sometimes it's helpful to do a diagram. It's actually usually helpful to do a diagram. Here's our normal distribution. Here is 0 on a standard normal distribution. Now, again, the modulus means we can have a minus or a plus value. Whatever it comes out to here, we're going to make it a positive. So, whatever this value is, being less than x is 0.08. So, what we're looking at here for this kind of question is between these two values, this bit here has a probability of 0.8. I probably haven't drawn this accurately, right? So between here and here, which means that on this side you're going to have 0.4, and on this side you're going to have 0.4, because whatever this returns, being less than a particular value, has to be less than x. So you might say, all right, if we changed it into standard normal distribution, maybe x is 1, right? So whatever this value is, as long as it's less than 1 as an absolute number, so you could have anything up to -1 and anything up to +1, that would still be less than 1 because the modulus sign makes it positive. So that's what we're looking at. So we're looking at a reflection across 0, 0.4 this side, 0.4 this side, all up, 0.8 probability. So we're looking at this bit here, okay? Now, what is the probability of that? Okay, well, first of all, I reckon what we want to do is find the z value here. Now, this is at 0.4 above this point here. So all you have to do is go to your table here and look for 0.4 above that, which is a 0.9 probability. So we're looking at 0.9 probability. Okay, if it's 0.4 above here, must be at 0.9 because each side of this is 0.5 probability, right? Half probability. So an extra probability of 0.4 this direction. So I go to my chart here and I find the closest I can get, like the previous question that I did with you, the closest I can get to 0.9. Now if I'm looking at this, I'm looking in the row of 1.2. Z1.2 is going to give me a close number to 0.9. And I'm looking at 1.28, and that gives me a probability of 0.8997. And I need to add something to that, don't I? I need to add 1, and that will get me to 0.8999. So this must be 1.281. So z equals 1.281. Make sure you're checking on your sheet that you can see how I'm getting this answer. Or is it 2? It's actually probably closer to 2 because it's a little bit more than 1. It's probably closer to 2, so about 1.282. Just looking at that data again. Okay, now I want to find this bit here. So what is that bit? Okay, let's get some colour pens out so we can have a look at this. First of all, I could get the red bit. Alright, so that red bit from here backwards is going to be phi 1.282. Okay, and I actually don't need to do that. I already know what the probability is. What am I thinking, Mr. K? All I need to do is find the x value here, which gives this, right? So all I need to do now is chuck this in to find x. My apologies. So it's going to be 1.282 is equal to x minus mu. Now we know that mu is 0, and we know that sigma is square root 15. So I'm just going to rearrange this, and I get x is equal to square root 15 multiplied by 1.282. Now if you chuck that in your calculator, when I did this before, I got x is equal to 4.97. So on the non-standardized normal, we would have 4.97 would be the result that this modulus of x would have to be less than to give you a probability of 0.8. Okay, but let's move now on to part B. This one is wrong in the answer book, as far as I can tell. I will show you my working for it. We are trying to find, in this case, the probability... What are we trying to find? Let me just check that I've got the right question. That's why I got it wrong. We are trying to find y such that the probability of the modulus of x is greater than y is equal to 0.6. Now, very similar again. Let's draw our normal curve. 0. Okay? Now, again, you can draw your lines here, y, and then on the other side, the reflection here. Okay. Now, the probability that our modulus is going to be greater than this y value is 0.06. So instead of being less than, like in this part, we are now dealing with this part and this part. Okay? So we're trying to find these values such that this here is 0.6. Okay, well how are we going to do that? Well, if these bits are 0.6, we know that these bits must be 0.4. Okay, and if these bits are 0.4, and this is halfway at 0.5, so the probability of being this way, this must be 0.7 is this way. Let's just repeat that. We know that this plus this is 0.6, which means this bit in the middle must be 0.4 because the whole probability must be 1. Therefore, each side of the midway point is going to be 0.2, which means this line is 0.7. 0.7 chance of everything being lower than that. Okay, and now I get my chart here. 0.7 probability, I look it up in the probability part to find my Z number. So, the closest I can get to 0.7 appears to me to be in the line Z is 0.5 something, and the closest I can get is 0.52, which is giving me 0.6985, and the closest I can get is adding 14 to that, which is going to give me 0.6999. So I'm saying, according to my table, I think it should be 0.524. So Z equals 0.524. I suggest you pause the video if you don't have this available. Have a look at how I got this number from a 0.7. If you can't figure it out, maybe email me and I can show you highlighted on a sheet or something. Excuse me. Okay, now that I know that the Z number is this, I can find out what Y is. So, Z equals X minus mu all over sigma. In this case, Z is 0.524, and I know that X is equal, well, I don't know what X is, sorry, this should be Y, because we're asking for Y. Y minus mu, which is 0 in this case, all over square root 15, rearrange, Y is equal to 0.524 multiplied by square root 15, and that gives me, what does that give me? I think it gives me 2.029, I'm just going to check that. 0.524 times the square root of 15, I'm getting 2.029. Now, I believe that your answer book has a different answer. I'm pretty convinced that we're right. Alright, good luck guys.